Hi everyone, welcome to our next chapter of On Purpose. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how we can be more intentional in our working life. Let's begin. As always, take a moment to still yourself. Focus on your breathing and intentionally breathe more deeply and slowly. Try to let go of any stories or presumptions about yourself, your relationships, your world, God, that might keep you from opening to life in this practice, and make a commitment to be receptive to anything that God or the universe may want to offer you as we go through this practice. And then when you're ready, ask yourself, where am I now? Think about this particularly as it relates to your work, whether your work is paid or not, whether it's formal or informal. And when you have a sense of an answer to that question, ask yourself, where do I want to be at the end of 2022? And once again, keep your answers to these questions in mind throughout your practice today. What do you do for a living? Now, I'm not necessarily talking about what you do to earn the money to pay your bills. I'm talking about what you do that gives your life meaning. What do you do that captures your full attention, that shifts you into a different kind of awareness, that makes you lose track of time? Is there anything in your life that makes you feel that any day where you do that thing is a good day? I kind of feel like one of the great tragedies of our human evolution is the way our working lives have evolved. I remember being shocked many years ago when my eldest son started high school and Debbie, my wife, and I attended a parents' orientation evening. At the start of the proceedings, one of the teachers asked the parents to raise their hands if they were happy and fulfilled in their work. As I looked around the room, I estimated that only around 10% of the people raised their hands. The vast majority was indicating that their work was neither happy nor fulfilling. In October 2013, the Washington Post published an article entitled, "Only 13% of people worldwide actually like going to work." And in the years since 2013, very little has changed. Gallup reported in 2019 that only 15% of employees globally are engaged in their work. And in 2021, news outlets have been reporting on what is now being called the Great Resignation, or the Big Quit. People are leaving their jobs at record rates, many with no plans to return. Now, all of this indicates that most of us have a very conflicted or unhealthy relationship with our work. When you realize that we spend more time at work than doing anything else except maybe sleeping, the cost of our unhappiness in our jobs is very high. Our struggle with work obviously takes a number of different forms. For some of us, it's the working environment. For example, introverts being forced to work in cubicles. For others, it's the pain of toxic relationships with our co-workers or feeling bullied and disrespected by our bosses. For still others, it's that we have somehow ended up doing work that's tedious and meaningless and boring or soul-destroying. It's not often that I hear people speak about work as something spiritual or something with a deeper meaning. And so as we look at the year ahead, whether we continue to work from home or whether we return to the office, one thing is certain for most of us: we will still be working for a very large percentage of the time. And for those of us who may be retired from formal work, I'm pretty sure we're still going to be looking for something that can fill our time and give us a sense of purpose and meaning. So how do we work with our work in a way that contributes to our overall health, our capacity to connect deeply with ourselves, others, and the world, and in a way that enables us to make a meaningful contribution to the world? I want to invite you to join me in a conversation about what we can do to make our work more life-giving and meaningful. And I'm going to kick it off with a few things that have helped me. To begin with, if our work is to be meaningful and life-giving, then we need to know what brings us to life. This doesn't have to be one thing. Some of us are specialists who love to focus and master a single area of expertise that brings joy and fulfillment. But others of us are multi-potentialites, people who need to be doing lots of things to feel fulfilled. Either way, it's important to know what we need and to find ways to make those things part of our lives as much as possible. Where possible, we want to try and bring our joy bringers into our jobs. But if that's not possible, we may need to do as much of the things we love outside of our jobs and try and kind of decenter our jobs in our working life in some way. If not in terms of time and space, but at least psychologically and emotionally. Maybe you can even start building something that can end up being what you do for a full-time living. As we saw last week, the quality of our relationships determines the quality of our lives, and that includes our working relationships. And so another thing we can do that's really good for ourselves is to build relationships that can sustain us in our workplace and outside of it. We all need people with whom we can check in or who we can go to whenever we need a boost or some inspiration or even just a compassionate listening ear. Who would those people be for you? And finally, it can make a huge difference when we try to find or to create the healthiest and most positive working environment that we can. Many of us stay in toxic environments much longer than we should for all sorts of reasons. But if we can get out, then it's usually a good idea to do so if the environment is toxic. But failing that, we can work to bring beauty and comfort into our work environment. We can have pictures, plants, music, snacks, objects of beauty or objects of special meaning that can help us create a small sanctuary while we work. They can also keep us connected with our richer and more meaningful life outside of work. So what is your relationship with your work right now? Are you wishing you could join the Great Resignation, or are you so happy that you hope you never have to retire? What does your working life look like in the year ahead? And what intentions can you set to make your working life more meaningful in 2022? What we do to make money and what we do to make a life are very often not the same thing. It's wonderful when they can be, but what's important is that when we think of making our work a significant and life-giving part of our lives, let's not limit our thinking to our jobs. We can work to earn money, but it's even more important that we work to make meaning, to make a contribution to our world, and to make our hearts sing. So now take a moment to sit with today's meditation. What spoke to you? What challenged you or excited you? And what do you want to carry with you through the rest of the week? And when you're ready, I encourage you to think again about what you want to add to your vision board. Whatever images or symbols or words or anything else will help you to envision how you intend to live and work on purpose this year. And you can pause the video if you need to as you do that work. And now as we end this video and we prepare to go into the rest of our week, I encourage you to think about what intentions you're setting for your working life in 2022. What systems will you put in place to support this intention? And what habits will you build into your life to make sure this intention becomes a reality for you? And now, I wish you an intentional week. I wish you meaningful work. And I wish you an expanded capacity to live on purpose. See you next time.